There comes a moment in every life when the mask falls away and the truth of a person stands right in front of you. It may not arrive with loud announcements or dramatic warnings. Most of the time, it appears quietly through actions, attitudes, and choices. A person may speak kind words, promise loyalty, and present a picture that seems trustworthy. But over time, actions begin to tell a deeper story, a story that cannot be hidden forever. Life has a powerful way of revealing what truly lives inside the heart of a person. Many people struggle with this moment because the truth is not always what they hope to see. The heart wants to believe the best. It wants to trust, to hold on to the image of who someone appeared to be in the beginning. But reality has a voice that grows louder with time. Character reveals itself through patterns, through repeated behavior, through the way a person treats others when there is nothing to gain. These moments are not accidents. They are revelations. They are lessons placed in the path of life to guide the soul toward wisdom. The danger is not that people reveal who they are. The danger is when that revelation is ignored. The human heart can become skilled at making excuses. It can explain away dishonesty, overlook disrespect, and silence the quiet warning that rises within the spirit. Sometimes hope becomes so strong that it blinds the eyes to truth. But ignoring the truth never changes the truth. Reality remains steady, waiting for the moment when a person is ready to accept what has already been shown. Understanding this truth is not meant to make the heart bitter. It is meant to make the heart wise. Wisdom grows when a person learns to see clearly, to listen carefully, and to value actions more than promises. A person's character is not proven by words spoken in comfortable moments. It is proven by choices made when no one is watching, by integrity shown when it costs something, and by the consistency of their spirit over time. Life becomes stronger and more peaceful when a person accepts this simple reality. When someone shows their true character, believe what is being revealed. Not with anger, not with resentment, but with clarity. That clarity protects the mind, guards the heart, and leads a person toward relationships that are built on honesty and respect. It becomes a foundation for living with discernment, courage, and a deeper understanding of human nature. Every encounter in life carries a lesson. Some people come to walk beside you for a lifetime, bringing encouragement and strength. Others arrive to teach a lesson about boundaries, awareness, and personal growth. Both kinds of encounters shape the journey. Both contribute to the wisdom that forms a stronger spirit. So today, this message speaks to the heart of every person who has struggled with disappointment, confusion, or betrayal. The truth about people will always reveal itself. The question is not whether it will appear. The question is whether the eyes will be open enough to see it and the heart will be strong enough to accept it. And when that moment comes, it becomes the beginning of a deeper understanding of life, of people, and of the strength that grows within a soul that chooses wisdom over illusion. There comes a moment in life when someone reveals who they truly are, not through what they promise, but through what they do. Life does not hide the truth forever. The truth shows up in behavior, in patterns, in the quiet decisions people make when they believe no one is paying attention. Too many people miss that moment because the heart wants to believe a better story. The heart wants to hold on to the image of who someone said they were instead of accepting the evidence of who they have shown themselves to be. But wisdom begins the day. You learn to pay attention to actions the very first time they speak louder than words. Actions carry weight. Words can be polished, rehearsed, and delivered with confidence. But actions come from the deeper place where character lives. When someone shows disrespect, selfishness, dishonesty, or lack of integrity, that moment is not random. It is a window into their nature. The problem is not that people reveal themselves. The real problem is when we explain it away, when we make excuses, when we convince ourselves that it was just a mistake, or that things will somehow change without any evidence of growth. Life becomes complicated when you keep ignoring what is clearly being shown to you. You start negotiating with reality. You start telling yourself that patience will transform a pattern that has already proven itself. But character does not change because someone hopes it will. Character changes only when a person chooses to confront themselves and grow. And that kind of transformation is rare, unless the person themselves recognizes the need for it. Believing someone the first time they show you who they are does not mean becoming cynical about people. It means becoming wise about human nature. Wisdom is not about expecting the worst from everyone. Wisdom is about recognizing patterns early enough to protect your peace, your energy, and your future. When you learn to see clearly, you stop investing your time in situations that are built on illusions. Think about how much pain in life comes from ignoring early signs. A small act of dishonesty becomes a larger betrayal later. A moment of disrespect becomes a pattern of mistreatment. A broken promise becomes a habit of unreliability. The warning signs were there from the beginning, but hope kept covering them up. Hope can be beautiful, but when it blinds you to reality, it becomes a trap that keeps you stuck in the same cycle again and again. Strength grows when you stop arguing with reality. Strength grows when you face the truth, even when it disappoints you. It takes courage to accept that someone you trusted has shown a side of themselves that cannot be ignored. But facing that truth early saves you from deeper wounds later. It saves years of emotional struggle. It protects your focus and allows you to move forward with clarity. There is power in trusting what you see, instead of waiting for things to fall apart completely before you accept the obvious. Life will always give signals. People will always reveal their character through their actions. Your responsibility is not to change them. Your responsibility is to observe, understand, and decide how much access they deserve to your life. When you start living with this level of awareness, your relationships begin to change. You stop chasing approval from people who show no respect. You stop investing energy into connections that drain your spirit. Instead, you begin to recognize the people whose actions reflect loyalty, honesty, and integrity. Those are the people worth walking beside. There is also something deeper happening within you when you learn this lesson. You begin to respect your own intuition. That quiet voice inside you becomes stronger because you stop silencing it. Too often, people feel the warning in their spirit, but ignore it because they do not want to seem judgmental or impatient. But intuition is not there to make you suspicious of Eve. Rione. It is there to help you recognize truth when it stands right in front of you. The more you listen to that inner awareness, the more confident you become in your decisions. You no longer need endless proof before you accept what is clear. You no longer wait for someone to betray you 10 times before believing the first sign of dishonesty. You learn to recognize that patterns start small, but they rarely stay small if they are ignored. Life rewards people who are willing to see clearly. When you believe what actions reveal the first time, you create space for healthier relationships, stronger boundaries, and a more peaceful mind. You are no longer trapped in the cycle of hoping people will become something they have never shown themselves to be. This understanding also teaches you to look at your own actions. Because just as you observe others, people are also observing you. Your character is revealed through what you do consistently. Integrity is not built by what you say about yourself. It is built by how you treat others, by how you respond when life becomes difficult, and by the standards you choose to live by, even when no one is watching. So the lesson becomes clear. Pay attention when people show you who they are, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with awareness. Accept the information that life is giving you. Let it guide your choices. Let it protect your peace. Because the sooner you recognize the truth in someone's actions, the sooner you free yourself from illusions and step into a life guided by wisdom, clarity, and strength that refuses to ignore what has already been revealed to the eyes and the spirit and the heart and the mind and the path forward, that is calling you to rise above confusion and walk with confidence toward a future built on truth, rather than hope that refuses to see what is already standing clearly in the light. There comes a point in life when experience begins to whisper lessons that the heart once refused to hear. Those lessons do not arrive loudly at first. They show themselves quietly through moments, patterns, and behaviors that feel slightly uncomfortable deep inside the spirit. A careless lie here. A moment of disrespect there. A promise made easily but broken just as easily. These are not random events. They are signals. They are the red flags that life places in front of you so that you can see the truth about a person before the damage becomes deeper. Too many people learn the hard way because they ignore those signals. The mind notices them. The mind notices them, but the heart tries to silence them. The heart wants harmony. It wants the relationship to work. It wants the story to end well. So it begins to make excuses. Maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe they did not mean it. Maybe things will change with time. And little by little, those maybes become the reason someone stays in situations that slowly drain their peace, their confidence, and their strength. But wisdom grows when you start paying attention to what behavior is telling you. Actions speak a language that cannot be hidden forever. A person who constantly disrespects boundaries is revealing how much they value your presence. And a person who lies without hesitation is showing you their relationship with honesty. A person who disappears when things become difficult is showing you how much they can be relied upon when life demands loyalty and courage. The truth is simple but powerful. People rarely hide who they are for long. Character always finds a way to reveal itself. The problem is not that the red flags are invisible. The problem is that many people choose not to see them. They convince themselves that patience will transform someone who has never shown a desire to grow. They hope love will correct behavior that the other person has in. Intention of changing strength begins when you stop ignoring what is right in front of you. Strength is not about confrontation or anger. Strength is about clarity. It is about the courage to recognize patterns and understand what those patterns mean for your life. When someone repeatedly shows behavior that disrespects your time, your trust, or your values, that behavior is giving you information. And information is power when you choose to listen. There is a reason those red flags feel uncomfortable in the beginning. Deep inside every person, there is a sense of awareness that recognizes when something is not right. It is the quiet voice that pauses when someone's words and actions do not match. It is the feeling that something is off even when everything on the surface looks normal. That inner awareness is not there to create fear. It is there to guide you toward wisdom. Ignoring that awareness is like turning away from a warning sign on a dangerous road. At first, the road may still look smooth. But eventually the consequences appear. The further you travel without acknowledging the warning, the harder it becomes to turn around. This is why so many people find themselves trapped in relationships and situations that started with small warning signs that were never taken seriously. When you begin to respect the signals in people's behavior, your life starts to change. You become more aware of how people treat others, not just how they treat you when things are convenient. You begin to notice how someone speaks about those who are not present. You observe how they respond to pressure, disappointment, and responsibility. Because character reveals itself most clearly when life becomes uncomfortable. A person who values honesty will remain honest even when telling the truth is difficult. A person who respects others will show that respect consistently, not only when it benefits them. A person with integrity does not change their character depending on the situation. These qualities are not temporary performances. They are reflections of what lives inside the heart. The moment you stop ignoring red flags is the moment you begin protecting your future. You stop wasting energy trying to fix people who are comfortable with their behavior. You stop sacrificing your peace in the hope that someone will suddenly become someone different. Instead, you begin setting boundaries that honor your worth and your values. Boundaries are not about punishment. They are about self-respect. They are the quiet decision to surround yourself with people whose actions bring honesty, loyalty, and encouragement into your life. When you refuse to ignore red flags, you create space for healthier connections to grow. This lesson also invites you to look inward, because just as you observe the behavior of others, you must also examine your own actions. The same awareness that helps you recognize unhealthy patterns in others can help you strengthen your own character. It reminds you that the way you treat people matters. It reminds you that your integrity is revealed through consistency, through accountability, and through the choices you make when no one else is watching. Life becomes stronger and more peaceful when you learn this truth. You do not need to wait for someone to betray you completely before accepting the warning signs that appeared along the way. You do not need endless evidence before recognizing patterns that clearly reveal a person's character. Clarity is a powerful gift. It allows you to walk through life with open eyes instead of blind hope. It protects your spirit from unnecessary pain and teaches you to value the people who show genuine respect, loyalty, and honesty through their actions. And when you live with that kind of awareness, you move forward with confidence. You trust what behavior reveals. You honor the wisdom that comes from experience. You refuse to ignore the signals that life places in your path, because every red flag is not there to hurt you. It is there to teach you, to guide you, and to remind you that your peace, your dignity, and your future are far too valuable to be placed in the hands of someone whose actions have already revealed the truth about who they choose to be again and again and again as life continues to show you that wisdom belongs to those who are brave enough to see clearly and strong enough to walk away from what their spirit already knows is not meant to remain in their path. There is a quiet strength that begins to grow in a person the moment they stop fighting reality and start accepting people for who they truly are. Life becomes heavy when you keep expecting someone to be different from the person they keep showing you. You begin to carry disappointment after disappointment because your heart keeps hoping they will suddenly become kinder, more honest, more loyal, or more understanding. But peace does not come from trying to reshape people. Peace comes from seeing them clearly and deciding how much space they deserve in your life. Too often, people confuse acceptance with weakness. They think accepting someone as they are means agreeing with their behavior or tolerating everything they do. That is not acceptance. Real acceptance is clarity. It is the moment when you recognize someone's character without illusions. You stop arguing with the truth. You stop pretending that tomorrow will magically turn them into someone they have never been. Instead, you acknowledge their actions, their patterns, and the way they consistently treat others. When you reach that level of awareness, something powerful happens inside you. The struggle begins to fade. The frustration that came Rom trying to fix someone slowly disappears. Because you finally understand that people can only change when they decide to change themselves. No amount of patience, love, or sacrifice can transform a person who has no desire to grow. There is a certain freedom in that realization. It frees your mind from endless questions. It frees your heart from chasing explanations that never come. Instead of asking why someone behaves a certain way, you simply observe and accept the evidence that their behavior has already revealed. Some people will show kindness and loyalty in every situation. They will stand beside you when life becomes difficult and celebrate with you when life becomes good. Those people are easy to welcome into your life because their character reflects respect and sincerity. But there are others whose actions reveal selfishness, inconsistency, or a lack of integrity. And when those truths appear, protecting your peace means accepting what you see instead of pretending it does not exist. Acceptance is not about bitterness. It is about wisdom. When you see someone's true nature, you do not need to attack them or carry anger in your heart. You simply adjust your expectations. You stop expecting loyalty from someone who has never shown it. You stop expecting honesty from someone who constantly bends the truth. You stop expecting respect from someone who repeatedly ignores your boundaries. That shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, the emotional burden becomes lighter. You are no longer shocked by behavior that has already revealed itself many times before. Instead, you understand it. And that understanding allows you to protect your energy and your focus. Peace grows when you stop trying to control what others choose to be. You cannot control their character, their decisions, or the way they live their lives. What you can control is your response. You can decide who deserves your trust, who deserves your time, and who deserves a place in your inner circle. The strongest people are not the ones who constantly fight with others to prove a point. The strongest people are the ones who know when to step back, observe, and move forward with dignity. They do not waste years trying to convince someone to become a better person. They simply recognize the truth and make choices that protect their peace. There is also a deeper lesson in this process. When you accept people for who they truly are, you begin to respect your own worth more deeply. You realize that your peace is valuable, your energy is valuable, your time is valuable, And those things should not be handed over to people who repeatedly show that they do not value them. At the same time, this awareness helps you appreciate the people who do bring positivity into your life. The ones who show up with honesty, encouragement, and loyalty become even more meaningful because you recognize the difference between genuine character and empty promises. Life becomes calmer when you stop trying to change every situation or every person. Instead, you move with wisdom. You welcome the people whose actions reflect respect and integrity, and you quietly distance yourself from those whose behavior creates chaos or negativity. That is how peace is protected. Not through anger, not through endless arguments, but through clear understanding and calm decisions that honor the truth, standing right in front of you. When you accept people as they truly are, you stop living in frustration and start living in clarity. Your mind becomes quieter because it is no longer trapped in the exhausting effort of trying to rewrite someone else's character. Your heart becomes stronger because it learns to value truth over illusion. And as you continue walking through life with that kind of wisdom, you begin to understand that peace is not something the world gives to you. Peace is something you protect through awareness, through boundaries, and through the courage to accept people exactly as they show themselves to be while you move forward with strength, dignity, and a calm spirit that refuses to sacrifice its inner balance for the sake of holding on to a version of someone that never truly existed in the first place. There comes a moment in life when experience begins to teach a lesson that words alone could never fully explain. It is the moment when you realize that promises can be spoken easily, but character is revealed through action. People can say all the right things. They can sound convincing, sincere, even passionate. But the true measure of a person is not found in what they say. It is found in what they repeatedly do. This truth does not always arrive gently. Many people learn it through disappointment. Someone you trusted speaks about loyalty, but disappears when life becomes difficult. Someone promises honesty, but chooses convenience over truth. Someone talks about respect yet treats others with carelessness when it matters most. In those moments, the gap between words and actions becomes impossible to ignore it. First, the mind tries to hold on to the words. The mind wants to believe the promises were real. It searches for explanations and reasons that make the behavior easier to accept, but reality keeps presenting the same message again and again. Actions reveal the real story. Actions carry the weight of truth because they require effort, commitment, and integrity. Words cost very little. Anyone can say they care. Anyone can promise support. Anyone can speak about values and principles. But living those values requires discipline and character. It requires a person to stand by their commitments even when it becomes inconvenient or uncomfortable. This lesson changes the way you see the world. You begin to listen less to grand speeches and pay more attention to consistent behavior. You observe how someone treats people who cannot offer them anything in return. You notice how they respond when situations become difficult. You see whether their choices match the values they claim to believe in. This awareness does not make you cold or suspicious. Instead, it makes you wise. Wisdom means understanding that real character shows itself through patterns, not through occasional statements. Anyone can have a moment of kindness or speak a few inspiring words, but true character appears through consistency over time. When you begin to focus on actions, your relationships become clearer. The people who truly care about you will prove it through presence, support, and respect. They will not only speak about loyalty, they will demonstrate it through their choices. They will not simply talk about standing beside you. They will show up when life becomes challenging. At the same time, you begin to recognize when someone's actions do not match their words. That recognition can be painful because it forces you to accept a reality you may not have wanted to see. But there is also strength in that clarity. Because once you understand the difference between words and actions, you stop allowing empty promises to control your expectations. Life becomes simpler when you believe what behavior is telling you. You stop waiting endlessly for someone to become the person they describe themselves to be. You stop building trust on statements alone. Instead, you allow time and actions to reveal the truth. This lesson also invites you to examine your own life, because the same principle that applies to others also applies to you. The way you live your life sends a message to the people around you. Your actions reveal your integrity, your disc, pipeline, and your respect for others far more than any words you could ever speak. When you commit to aligning your actions with your values, something powerful begins to happen. People start to trust your character because they see consistency. They know that when you make a promise, you are prepared to honor it. They know that your words carry meaning because your behavior supports them. That kind of integrity builds strong foundations in every part of life. It strengthens relationships. It builds credibility. It creates a reputation that cannot be easily shaken because it is built on proof rather than performance understanding. That actions speak louder than words is not just about protecting yourself from disappointment. It is about building a life that is rooted in authenticity. It teaches you to surround yourself with people who live their values rather than simply talking about them. It also encourages you to become that kind of person yourself. A person whose presence brings reliability and strength into the lives of others. A person whose commitments are backed by effort and responsibility. A person who understands that true respect is earned through behavior, not through speeches. As you continue to move through life with this understanding, you develop a sharper awareness of the difference between appearance and reality. You begin to see beyond the surface of charming words and impressive promises. You learn to recognize the quiet power of consistent action, and that awareness becomes a guiding force that protects your time, your trust, and your peace. Because when you understand that actions carry the real message, you stop being distracted by what people say and start paying attention to what they repeatedly choose to do, while you continue walking forward with wisdom, clarity, and the determination to build a life where both your words and your actions stand together as a reflection of the character you choose to live by every single day, without hesitation or contradiction, or the empty noise of promises that never rise to meet the strength of true commitment. There comes a moment in life when the illusion begins to fade, and the truth stands right in front of you. It is the moment when you realize that some people are not who they first appeared to be. They presented an image, a version of themselves that sounded convincing and looked promising. But over time, their actions slowly pulled the curtain back. What once seemed genuine begins to feel like a performance. And in that moment, you face a powerful choice. You can keep holding on to the version of them you hoped was real, or you can accept the truth and grow stronger by letting go of the illusion. Letting go is not easy, because the mind holds on to memories and the heart holds on to hope. The heart remembers the good conversations, the promises that sounded sincere, the moments when everything felt right. Those memories can make it difficult to accept the reality that the person standing in front of you now is not the person you believe them to be. But strength begins when you stop chasing the image someone pretended to be and start accepting who they have consistently shown themselves to be. People sometimes create versions of themselves to impress others or to gain acceptance. They present kindness they cannot maintain, loyalty they do not truly value, or honesty they are not prepared to live by. For a while, the act may seem convincing, but time has a way of revealing what lies beneath the surface. Character cannot remain hidden forever. Eventually, actions begin to speak louder than appearances. When that moment arrives, it can feel disappointing, even painful. But within that disappointment, there is also an opportunity for growth. Because every time life reveals truth about someone, it gives you a chance to strengthen your understanding of human nature and your respect for your own peace. Holding on to who someone pretended to be keeps you trapped in a story that no longer exists. You keep expecting behavior that never appears. You keep hoping for honesty that never arrives. And each time the reality contradicts that hope, frustration begins to grow inside you. But the moment you let go of the illusion, something powerful begins to happen. Your mind becomes clearer. Your energy becomes lighter. You stop fighting with reality and start moving forward with wisdom. Letting go does not mean you become bitter or resentful. It simply means you choose truth over fantasy. You recognize that people reveal their character through consistent actions, not through the image they try to present. And once you see that truth clearly, You free yourself from the exhausting effort of trying to hold on to something that was never fully real. There is strength in that decision. It is the strength that comes from valuing your peace more than your attachment to an illusion. It is the strength that allows you to walk away from disappointment without carrying anger in your heart. Because you understand that people can only be who they choose to be. Life becomes more peaceful when you accept this reality. You stop trying to rewrite someone else's character. You stop investing energy into relationships built on appearances instead of authenticity. Instead, you begin to surround yourself with people whose actions reflect honesty, respect, and integrity. And those kinds of people do not need to pretend. Their character speaks through consistency. They show up with sincerity, not performance. They do not need to create a perfect image because their actions naturally reveal who they are. As you grow stronger through this understanding, you also begin to look at yourself with deeper awareness. You begin to value authenticity in your own life. You understand that true respect is built through living with integrity rather than trying to impress others with appearances. This awareness becomes a foundation for stronger relationships and a stronger sense of self. Because when you stop chasing illusions, you create